Hey everyone, it's Bass Junkie transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video, back with a new vinyl talk, and I decided to keep things hardcore, riding along on the hardcore theme. I started with the past vinyl talk video and also with one I did way in the past about Charlie Low Noise and Mental Theo, and well, I've been listening to a lot of hardcore throughout the past weeks again, so one record I'm going to talk about is this one. Once again, you won't see nothing apart from that little price tag, which reveals that I paid 15.9 Deutschmarks for it, which when we switched from Deutschmarks to Euro, it was €1 equal 2 Deutschmarks, so it's about €8. Nowadays a record like this, which I bought in 2000, would be about 12 to 14 euro in the store, in the record store I work at, so prices went up. And this is the sleeve, Gabba Nation 07 Untitled, various artists. And what is very interesting about this record is that there is actually no paper label on there, for a reason I will reveal later. So this is pure black, plain black, and on the flip side there is only a sticker just announcing the label, Matrix GNR 07 and the artists, which are, I don't know if you can see that properly, Cadex, Mibo and B&B, all related to Berlin's Gabba Nation, which was a posse which existed for a long time, still is around. That is posse, promoter team, record label, DJ team, which focused on hard electronic music, Gabba and hardcore, also through parties at the legendary Tresor Club when the Tresor Core parties were going on, where I was also involved with another series, Earache, and they had the Gabba Nation records as well, Gabba Nation Records nights as well. And yeah, what is special about this one, apart from this no label thing, is 3 tracks on here. The first one, A1, is by Cadex. All tracks are untitled. The Cadex track is straight up hardcore with some interesting breaks, with vocal samples, guitar stuff, but straight up banging hardcore. Good mix stuff, but nothing that special. The Mibo track on A2 is more a little bit more ravey, still hard, but the bass drum is not so hyperly compressed. But the track I want to talk about is the B&B one on B1, is stretching about the whole side. And as you might have read from the headline of this video, or from the title, that is it's a little bit questionable, and I'd say unofficial, not to say illegal, because I'm pretty sure EIFFEL 65, who've been covered on this video, on this record, weren't that happy, and I guess that's the reason why there is no exact label and no exact label stated, and there is no other information on this, because back in the days in 2000 when this was pressed, the EIFFEL 65 track was still, well, I'm Blue La Da Dee La Da Da is still in everyone's head, but it was closer to the original release of the pop dance track. So I guess the producers, the Gabba Nation crew, would have been sued if they stated officially okay, we are behind that. And what is more interesting is that the whole track is built like a recording from an old pirate radio station, even with an intro, KTBH radio. And the fun fact is that the whole intro of the track runs for 1 or 2 minutes, and we have a guy, well, this is all made up, but a guy in his home studio, pirate radio studio, an obviously Russian guy, which is kind of drunk and making all kinds of weird announcements and sending out happy birthdays to young kids who turn 12, and recommends them to sell their gifts, eat their cake, and is speaking to one of his colleagues, which is not present, and announces that he lost his car and stuff. So it's a whole story building up before the whole track starts finally, and it starts like a proper hardcore track, bam bam bam, very fast drumming, and then it switches, and the bass drums switch kind of in sections of the track. Like it goes very hard, and then it's like the same tempo, the same speed, but the bass drums get like jumpy and wonk, like you can imagine, like the Eiffel 65 track, the Blue La Da Di La Da Da was quite fast, but imagine that's sped up to a certain degree, so maybe 20-30 beats per minute faster, so you get this very jumpy, Mickey Mousey effect also on the bass drums. So and it's like switches for like a second or so, and the ear is like, okay, why is this happening? And then these switches become more obvious, and then you have these like very distinct piano line, like bim bim coming up like for a second, and once again it's like, well, this I know this is like familiar and stuff, and then the switches between the hardcore sections and the sped up Eiffel 65 sections become like more obvious, and then even you get the whole vocal section and Blue La Da Di La Da Da and stuff, like singing but on hardcore tempo and partly accompanied by like highly compressed, hard hitting like hardcore bass drums. So this is more like a novelty fun track, which perfectly works out whenever you play this. So I've played this in hardcore parties as well as in drum and bass parties, and people do go crazy for that because they don't expect the combination of like cheesy Eurodance pop and banging hardcore, and well, everyone knows that on the Blue track. So it's like, well, this is like a fun thing, you know, when everybody's drunk and broken out anyway. This is like a record to go through. And interestingly, the radio theme continues to the very end. When the track is over, you have this drunk Russian or wannabe Russian guy again, like trying to get his colleague or his mate to continue like broadcasting on this made up station, and like he's very much like unfriendly and swearing at him, and like, you get your like little spindly ass over here or I'm gonna break your neck, and all that kind of stuff is coming up. So this track, this bootleg kind of is made and produced like a whole story or like a radio recording like we all know from like underground radio. So this is not only a fun track to play, but also a very clever idea to bring that to bring this together, like the radio aspect and the like Russian humor and stuff. So yeah, this is a nice little record, and well, you can find it on discogs for like, I don't know, 20 euro, 15 euro. Gabba Nation Records 07 by Codex Mebo and B&B, which is really only B&B stated. So the producers hid behind this alias, and well, you can find out who's behind that for sure on discogs, but definitely at that time it was a clever idea also to hide their identities, just because the major label who put out Eiffel 65 would have sued them big time, I guess, for this record. And I don't know how many they pressed up. I guess well, 1,000, 2,000 or something like that around the year 2000. Hardcore did sell well, so this is my rough estimate, although I haven't seen this one a lot like on the circuit of people I know. So maybe it might be rarer, maybe only 500 or 300 has been pressed. I don't have any idea, but this is a record I want to share with you from my collection, just to give you a short update, and the next video is coming soon, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. See you later.